Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. The subject of my lecture is the 20th century literature, or you can say modern literature. This modern literature or the 20th century literature starts from 1900 and it almost ends at 1961. And this age or this literature follows Victorian age or Victorian work or Victorian literature. As we know that there are some unique, particular or peculiar traditions and norms of are norms which any age produces or introduces or gives us. Same is the case with this age as well, that this 20th century literature has some unique attributes and qualities. You can say that those are different from the other ages or from the other works or from the other literature. But along with the new qualities or characteristics, this age also imbibes some norms, traditions, or you can say uh, culture, or you can say some rules and regulation or principle from the previous ages as well. And and the unique thing about this age was the people of this age or the literature of this age, they that was where the people specifically of this age were keen observer of their society, of man and their problems. So overall we can say that the main concern of modern writer was life and its problems. And in this period there was almost nothing left which was not examined and questioned and observed by the people of the age or by the modern literature. And people question, interrogated each other and each other and almost everything, and they did not care. They did not they did not want to leave any stone unturned. The modern literature and as well as the people of the 20th century, they started perceiving the things logically, rationally, objectively, and scientifically. So these are the unique qualities of this modern literature. People in this age become very busy in their lives, in their individual lives, and they wanted to earn more and more. So due to these things, that is due to yearn for more earning, right, and due to because of staying busy in their individual life, you can say that the moral and ethical values in the European society somewhat plummeted or declined, and people in that time did not have enough time for each other. And and we also see a great number of institutions which were built in Europe at that time. Institutions like separate institutions for old people and for the children, etc. As people became very interested in earning more and more, so because of this thing, they did not have enough time for their family or for their society or for their social life. Hence, we saw a kind of break, or we can see a breakage of family structure as well. There are some unique characteristics of 20th century which have been given in the next slide. The first characteristic of the 20th century literature is suffrage. And you can say, what is suffrage? Suffrage is the right, a chance to vote, express an opinion, or participate in a decision. And in this 20th century literature, women were not considered fragile and a weak section, or you can say marginalized section anymore, and they were given almost all the rights related with the basic needs, and they were now free politically, and they were able to vote, and they were able to share their opinion, and they had almost opportunities in almost every field, and they started standing with their men in almost every field of life, and they were no more considered as a burden on society, but they were considered as the equal participant of the society, and and they were able to freely express themselves in almost every field of life. and especially after 1928 they were given the rights. They were enfranchised. Before that they were not enjoying the rights of vote and so many other rights as well. They were very weak. They were considered very weak and the marginalized section of the society. And the second point, the second characteristic of the 20th century literature is rationalism. Rationalism, this word is related with rationality, and which means intellect, and whenever we want to examine anything, we take help from reason, from rationality, from logic. So same is the case here. When anything which does not fascinate your mind, your logic or rationality, your mind or your brain will reject it. So in this age, people took help from this rationality, from logic, from rationalism. So of course brains have the capacity to perceive the things rationally and logically. So people in this age, in the 20th century literature, in the 20th century, the writer, they took help, or even the people, the normal people of the society, they started taking help from rationality, or you can say from the ration from logics, from reasons, and they started questioning and examine almost everything logically, not just on the basis of their faith or beliefs or the old beliefs. So old beliefs or the old things or the old faiths, they were rejected, and the kind of rationality and logics and reason were introduced in this age. And the third characteristic of this age is liberalism. What is liberalism? Liberalism means to think freely, to believe in equal rights for all the people, or to believe in freedom of expression, freedom of speech, or freedom of saying what one feels like saying. Right? This is you can say the thing which a liberal believes in, they are not actually influenced by, or they are not, they do not bear the impress of any caste or color or religion or power, etc. They believe they believe in the things what they think what the things are the cause of equal opportunity for all the humanity, for all the people. So simply a liberal is the one who believes in equal distribution of human rights. They do not believe in giving preferences to the people who are having more power, or the people who are the people who are in majority, or the people of color, or maybe superior religion. They do not believe in these things. Rather, they believe in the equal distribution of human rights. So this age, that is modern age, or the 20th century literature, in this age gives or introduces, I think, they believes in liberty in the thoughts, or liberty in the writing, or liberty in forming opinion, etc. The fourth characteristic of the age is decolonization. What is decolonization? What is colonization? Colonization is the process of making colonies, and decolonization is the process of breaking colonies, right? Shattering the dogma, or the process of making colonies. So here you uh, who were the colonizers in the 20th century, in the 19th century? We know that Britishers, French people, Spanish, they were the colonizers in the 20th century. and and the countries like in the modern day, the countries like New Zealand, Africa, the subcontinent countries, they were the colonies of those countries. Even the current day America, they this was also once the colonies of England, or you can say France, or Spain, etc. The good thing in the 20th century happened is these colonies, they attained freedom politically, socially, economically, and geographically as well, and they were able to form their own unique culture in this age. And in this 20th century, those former colonies, they settled their own rules and laws, and they and culture, and they and the British imperialism came to an end. And this decolonization, It occurred due to scientific development, due to a development in rationality, due to the development in knowledge and in language, in media, etc. And this is a very beautiful characteristic of this age, that people started getting freedom. They started decolonizing the old colonies, the former colonies. Another characteristic of the age is materialism. You can say materialism is related with wealth, and in materialism, in you can say, you can define materialism in a way that it is a constant concern over material possessions and wealth, or a great or excessive regard for worldly concerns. And in other, if you want to see this term and look at this term philosophically, this is the kind of philosophical belief that nothing exists beyond what is physical. So materialism is another characteristic of this age. And people in this age, or man in the 20th century, uh, became actually machine. And wealth is one of the focuses of the 20th century man. So he or she hugely focused on wealth, on accumulation of wealth, and this materialism hugely affected the lifestyle of the European society during the 20th century. Another characteristic of the age is disintegration of personal relations or values. You know that as people, they were busy in gaining or accumulating more and more wealth, so they did not care about their relations. They were only interested in accumulating wealth or getting wealth. And in this, and because of these things, these because of because of their huge focus on accumulating wealth, they lost their personal relations. They did not care about their parents, their families, and they did not want to spend a huge amount of time with their with their family or siblings or children. And you can say, when we say that disintegration of values, we should know that in this era, which when the people started earning more and more, in this way they went outside, they went away from their homes, and they searched for opportunities for jobs, and for opportunities for earning money, etc. In this way, the different genders started, they mixed together, and in a way they plummeted in the values which they used to harbor in the previous ages, right? So in the previous ages, they were very keen, or they were very uh, careful about their values, about their morality, etc. But in this age, the huge, or the chief focus of the people was money, and logics and science and knowledge and etc. So they did not care a lot about the values, or the old values which were set by the old ages. Womanizing was there, as you can say, drinking was there. These things were also part of this society, of this age as well. Another characteristic of the age is a break of family structure. As we know that the Victorian, or the period before that, they used to believe in the sanctity of human of family, or of domestic life, or you can say home life. But in the 20th century, the emotions and the sentiments for the family plummeted or declined. Young men and women, they realized the prospect of financial independence, and when they realized this financial independence, they refused to submit to parental authority, and they considered domestic life as too narrow and conservative. Moreover, their chief focus was getting more and more wealth. Thus, they did not have enough time for their family, and hence we saw the break of family structure in the 20th century. And another characteristic of the age of the 20th century is capitalism. Capitalism is a socio-economic system based on private ownership of resources or capital, or you can say that this is opposite to socialism, and capitalism believes in the individual possession of the wealth, and capitalism believes in the uh, in the property. Capitalism believe that an individual can earn and can own property, and there will be no share of the state. So you can say that due to this attribute or the characteristic of the 20th century, that is capitalism, the richer got richer and the poorer got poorer. So the people who were rich, they became more rich, and the people who were poor, they became more poor. And because the people who had enough money, they kind of became selfish, and they had no sympathy or empathy for the poor people, so they just focused on getting more and more money. Karl Marx was a beautiful character who gave this theory of socialism in opposition to this capitalism, and which educated the poor people to protest for themselves, and Karl Marx stood for the equal distribution of wealth, and this was a beautiful concept given by Karl Marx specifically in that time, and this was really this hugely uh, uh, this hugely relates to that period, that is the 20th century, or the period before that, before before 1900, or the period, or you can say that Victorian period, etc. Another characteristics of the age is psychology. What is psychology? Is the study of human soul and mind, right? Our soul is closely related with our mind. Both brain and mind are two different things. Keep in mind, brain is a biological function that can be observed and is also measurable, but the uh, functions of the brain, that is, you can say, perceiving, feeling, thinking, liking and disliking, they are controlled by mind. And in the 20th century literature, it focuses on human life and its problem. So in this way, we can say that they focused on psychology because they were interested in knowing the problems of human beings, and so in this way they also focus on the study of human mind, and how it can be and the study of human mind and the feelings and the likes and dislikes and perceiving and the thinking, which all these processes which are the attributes of human mind. So they were interested in this study as well. So this was the kind of general introduction of the 20th century. So in the next lecture we will discuss the poetry and novel, etc., and how this literature developed, and what are the things that this literature specifically tells us. Thank you very much for watching this, and if you have any question, you can ask me anytime on WhatsApp or Google Classroom. Take care.